buying refurbished computers. I, I was used to be in the world where I'd only buy new ones, and then I was introduced to by Harry to the uh, one website back market that I'm going to talk a little bit about today. I just want to do one thing here. Yeah. And I decided to explore that. So I bought a number of devices from them. I've actually taken advantage of their warranty and so forth. So that's going to be part of my discussion today, as well as the disclaimer. And the disclaimer is that I have switched from the Windows into the Mac world. I'm finding that the Macintosh, MacBook Pro, and the phone and so forth, all the Mac stuff seems to fit very nicely into the way I get my work done. So the presentation will address Windows, but bear in mind that I might be a little bit leaning towards Apple computers. My wife tells me that I come across as an evangelist, and I don't intend to do that. Everybody's going to have to make a decision what's best for them. I've made my decision, and I'm going to explain some of the reasons why, but there's also things you can do on the Windows side. So just bear with me for a little bit here. So buying a refurbished computer is, of course, different from buying a new computer because it has been used and repaired to bring it up to close to new capability. And the pluses of going refurbished are the value, because it's like buying a used car, that it is at a much lower price than a new car. There's some risk management that needs to be done because, like with a new car, you don't know where it's been. Carfax might be able to give you that information. Real world performance and examples using a $1,000 budget. That's what I decided. I'm actually kind of looking for a new computer, so I've decided my budget's going to be under $1,000. So that's what I'm going to present. I noticed that we had a number that were at a higher price last week, so we'll just go with that. $1,000 for now. So refurbished means it's, as I mentioned, it's a previously sold device. It has been returned, inspected, tested, and repaired to be in good working order. It's resold with a warranty, and it's different from as is. There are places where they come from. Corporate
Steve,
lease return.
Steve, you want questions at the end, or you want to get interrupted?
I can stand being interrupted for a little while. Did someone have a comment?
Going back to the previous slide, when it says inspected, tested, and the keyword is repaired, does it make a difference if repaired by whom?
It could be, as we'll see when we look at back market. Back market is like a marketplace, and they go to different refurbishers, and each refurbisher has a certain rating where people say how good or bad they are. So you can pick, oh, I don't want to buy this computer from this refurbisher. I want to buy from another. Okay, so it does make a difference. Go ahead.
And repaired, do they say to factory specs, or just a broken connection is resoldered and that's called repair?
It depends upon the refurbisher. If we take a look at back market, they talk about they have different qualities. They're getting getting into ahead on the slides here.
Okay. By the way,
but go ahead.
I was I think it's very likely someone's going to be resoldering doing these repairs. Typically, they involve like replacing whole hunks of stuff. And
yeah, I understand, Seth. I was just
right, and it does matter, by the way. Who does it? Like, for example, if you buy a refurbished Apple device from Apple, typically they go in and they replace all the plastic. I mean, it's almost practically brand new when they do it. So you should really pay attention to who's doing the refurb and where you're buying it from. It does make a difference.
So let me continue on here. So where it comes from is it come from a variety of places: corporate lease returns, customer returns, or open box. excess inventory, warranty replacements, and sometimes you'll get customer trade-ins or trade-ups. Like when you're buying from back market, they have gotten people who have traded their machines in for different machines, and they refurbish those. The reasons to consider refurbished are you get a sizable savings, and some of the higher end models and capabilities and capacities become affordable. Where when we were looking last week, we were seeing some computers are $1,800 to well over $2,000. If you buy refurbished, you may be able to buy something at close to those specs at a much lower price. There's lower depreciation because this is like when you buy a car and you drive out of the out of the car store, it drops by value like 15 to 20%. You've already passed that, so that it's not likely to be depreciating at the same speed. There's also a benefit to the environment because where instead of taking the computer and you put it in the trash, somebody else is going to be using it. For me, it's high-end models and the cost savings. Now, the risks. When you're buying a used computer, there's a number of risks. The battery might be degraded. Now, okay, I'll leave that. There might be cosmetic wear, scratches on the screen, and so forth. You also have a risk of an older CPU or limited operating system support. If you buy some really old computers, it may not be able to load Windows 11, for instance. And the mitigation is that when you're buying a refurbished, you want to make sure that there's a warranty for a 6 to 12 month, which means if it fails, obviously within that time, you get some compensation. The return window, so that if you get the machine and you want to return it, you have 30 days in which you can return it, hopefully with no restrictions on the return. Just say, I don't want it, and you return it. And seller reputation. As Seth mentioned, it depends upon who the seller or the refurbisher is.
Steve,
So go ahead.
when does the 30 days begin? Like when you get it, or when they mail it, or send it, or?
You'd have to check the details.
Okay.
With regards to back market, I would argue that it would be when it arrives here. That would be my argument. I would suspect that's what it is, but I haven't checked.
Yeah, that's what I would hope. Okay.
Okay. The return that I did within days of receiving it. I'll discuss that later. So the key buying criteria is you want to buy a CPU that's relatively recent. You want to get at least 8 to 16 gigabytes of RAM. If you can do more than that, that's great. And of course, this depends upon what you're doing. I'll talk a little bit about where my point of view is. You want to get SSD only. The reason for that is because that's a lot faster, and that is the current technology. If you get with a spinning disk, especially if you're buying a used machine or a refurbished machine with a spinning disk, it's more likely to fail on you because the spinning disks fail after a while. Battery health on laptops, because you're going to be relying upon the battery unless you are willing to just accept that you'll always keep it under power. The OS support, for instance, you can buy a machine that cannot run Windows 11 or cannot run the latest Mac operating systems. You need to be aware of what you're buying and what its operating system support is. And then your willingness and capability for machine upgrades. When I received an iMac, I opened it up and replaced the memory and the hard disk with an SSD. I was willing to do that. I wouldn't have accepted the machine if I wasn't willing to do that. Any questions so far? So now I'm going to get into some of the places where you can get refurbishes. One of them machines. One of them is Back Market, Amazon Renewed, Best Buy, Apple, and the various manufacturers. I believe Lenovo and others have them, but I'm only going to be considering going into great detail on these first 4 here because they're very available, very easy to get to and use. With regards to Back Market, they focus on refurbished equipment. They have a large inventory and it's easy to search for what you're looking for. It's actually fun. I think it's fun to search. Actually, it's a little maddening because of all the options. There's a standardized grading, and that's what sets them apart from other people. They have excellent, good, and fair, and they also have even higher than excellent. I forget what it's called, but it relates to whether there's scratches on it, dents, how clear the screen is, and so forth when you're dealing with PCs. It's typically less cost than Amazon Renewed. Now, the things from Back Market come with a 12-month warranty, which means that if it fails within 12 months, you get compensation, as I mentioned. And they have a 30-day, no questions asked return policy. I bought a iPad from them, and they sent it to me. And as it was on its way to me, the price dropped by $40 because the prices do vary when you go to Back Market. So what I did was I returned the device and bought the less expensive one. It cost me nothing to return it. I got all my money back very quickly. And I got the newer one, the other one, which was otherwise identical, for $40 less. That was pretty good.
Steve,
They have go ahead.
what is the warranty involved? Is it just you send it back to us, we fix it and send it back to you? A replacement? What does the warranty mean from Back Market?
When I get a little bit further, I'm going to be going to Back Market and some of these other places. Let's take a look and see what the warranty is. Let's see. Does it say what it is?
Not now. Not now. Wait till
1 year warranty. Wait a second. Here it is. Defects covered for the first year. Ship it back to the seller for free. We even cover the shipping costs to get your item, and get a repair or replacement on us. That's the 1 year warranty from Back Market. I'm reading off their site on my other monitor here. Competitive pricing, and the cons, the things to be aware of is that it's third-party sellers, so quality can vary. So when you take a look at one, you can see who the refurbisher is, and you can make a decision whether that's something that somebody if you want to get it from, or maybe you want to wait and get from a different refurbisher. For Amazon Renewed, they have a large selection because you get searched for on their website. It's easy return by Amazon policies. You have a certain amount of time to return it. The quality varies by seller, and there's less consistent grading. Back Market is very specific. When they say it's excellent, it has to be meeting certain criteria. It may be less consistent on the Amazon Renewed. There's a shorter warranty. There are limited search filters, and it's more involved to compare availability to your specifications. This has been one of the annoyances I've had with Amazon. When I tell it I want to find an i7 with 16 gigabyte of memory, the searches will come up and I'll see 8 gig, I'll see i5s, i3s, even though I told it I want i7s, so that the search requires more diligence on my part to make sure that it's actually showing me what I was really looking for.
Mm-hmm. What's the buyer beware?
Buyer beware. Somebody said that that's why I put it in here. I forgot he gave it. Let's see if I can play it. But no.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. Any event, I put it in. He says, "Be careful when you're buying from Amazon." And I watched it, but I have forgotten why.
I understand.
Sorry. Manufacturer refurbished. Apple, as Seth mentioned, they do a great job of refurbishing the machine. It's in great shape. In fact, I bought one of my Macs from them, and it's been running fine. I think I had a battery replacement. No, that was on the other one. Anyway, highest reliability. It's like new condition. So it got a full manufacturer warranty. Many cases, it has a brand new battery, but the negatives are that the selection may be limited. When I took a look on Apple for the type of machine I wanted, they don't have any of them available, and it's at a higher price. Best Buy also often has manufacturer certified. They have open box and refurbished machines. Many many times you can get a local return possible. You can pick it up in Burlington or wherever. Moderate pricing. The inventory does vary, and they're less specialized than back market. They seem to deal more in the brand new stuff. Peer-to-peer markets, eBay, Swappa, Facebook Marketplace, Lexington Free Cycle. You can get a machine from Lexington Free Cycle, but sometimes people don't want it. That's how I got my first iMac. The pros are the lowest prices, especially with the Free Cycle, where the price is zero, but it's the highest risk. And there's no warranty from them, or a very inconsistent one, and it requires a certain amount of technical confidence. I couldn't have picked up that iMac unless I was willing to open it up and repair it when it needed to work.
Steve, on the subject of Lexington Free Cycle, there's probably less risk because you can just put it in the trash can if it doesn't work. So you have no investment in it typically.
Good
You
point.
can bring it to
Good point.
Staples and get it recycled. You don't put it in the trash can, Harry.
Oh, no, sorry.
And
sorry.
And then you get it, and go ahead. And then you get a credit. You can buy some ink from them by doing that. So let's compare these different ones here. I hope you can see this.
So, Steve, sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would. So, eBay is kind of a blend. I would say most likely eBay is going to look like Amazon and back market, because almost everything you find on eBay is going to be these large refurbishing companies that, you look at their reviews and they're in like the tens of thousands. And they just use eBay as another storefront like Amazon, and back market. So it's kind of somewhere in the middle. You can do peer-to-peer like Facebook Marketplace also, but that's probably the exception rather than the rule, at least in my experience.
Another advantage of eBay is they sell their stuff much like some of the other channels. Amazon, I got a modem. Same
Can't hear you too well, sorry.
model as what the provider was going to do, $20 or so. And with somebody that was one of the big ISPs that was changing models or something.
Is that?
Hey, Steve,
Could you restate what he said? We couldn't hear him over here.
Yeah.
Some of these channels like Amazon and eBay sell a lot of different goods, like modems. I had a good experience where I bought a modem 20 years ago, or no, more like 10 years ago, instead of paying rental. And it was the same model as my ISP. And it cost like $20 when they were charging me $10 a month to lease it.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And a local source that you want to just keep in mind, Steve, Micro Center has some refurb and open box that you can go to Cambridge and see. So that's a local source to look at a point of reference.
Good point. I didn't consider them.
They also have a lot of Apple equipment over there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a good place for that. So here's a quick comparison. It doesn't include Micro Center. Sorry. Back market has the best balance. I think if you look at the table down here, it's 4 stars all the way across for price, reliability, warranty, and ease of use. You get it's easier to use Amazon Renewed. I'm not sure why, because of the search situation. From the manufacturer, you're getting very high reliability and a really good warranty. The price will drop. The Best Buy is not bad on reliability, ease of use, and its price is about the same as Amazon. eBay, Swappa, Free Cycle, you can't knock the price on that. However, it doesn't come with a warranty for the most part, and you have kind of taken your chances with reliability. But if you're getting from Free Cycle, doesn't really matter. You haven't paid for it.
The reason I mentioned Free Cycle is I'm about to
Yep.
put on the order of 6 to 8 identical small computers that I bought in anticipation of a lot of business on a failed venture that I had. So it's time
Oh,
to clean out the basement, and anybody who wants them should. I will actually not put it on Free Cycle. I will send a message around to this group first, and anybody who
okay.
wants it.
Can I
That's
reply
that's
already?
that's an advertisement. I'm sorry.
So is that a new service called Harry Cycle?
Yeah, right. You don't have to put me on your list there, though.
Steve, how easy is it to donate computers to charities?
It's 4 cycle, actually. Anyway,
David,
final
Wait, a
takeaways.
charity? There
David-
are some places around that we've been giving stuff away to that basically are, if you will, they're consolidators of donated stuff that they take in and then give out to needy uh, participants that they've located. And you see, yeah. I mean, so there are some places around that do that.
But they're picky.
There's
Right.
a colleague of mine who does that, computer care and learning. He takes them, furbishes them, and sells them at a low price or gives them away to people who need to get a new computer, and he provides support for a long time. So that's a possibility.
Yep.
So the
Steve,
final takeaways, go ahead.
In the comments, I saw quickly that Dave Duff put in Craigslist, and now Craigslist has a limited utility. A lot of people don't use it these days, but it's still there, and that's an option for people who want to buy or sell equipment.
Okay.
Yep.
So the final takeaways. So I didn't do Micro Center and Craigslist.
So one notable thing,
Yeah.
which is a difference between a place like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and eBay, is eBay still has what is that thing called? The escrow. So, for example, if the person doesn't deliver what
Yes.
they should be delivering, you have protection. I don't know if it's just if you use PayPal or whatever it is, but eBay does stand behind that arrangement. Whereas if you go to Marketplace, you get the item and you get home and it's not what you expected, well, then you have to kind of go back to the person and, ask for your money back or whatever. And, you know, I think there are ways, for example, if you use Venmo, that you can get escrow. If you use like the not personal Venmo, but or PayPal, whatever it is, but the business one where you pay like 2%, I believe they do provide escrowing for that. But something to think about.
I recently sold some tech on eBay, and they did indeed hold paying me out until it was received satisfactorily by the buyer.
Yeah,
So yes, I guess they do that now. So
always.
the final takeaways here are that it's refurbished gives you the high value. You can manage your risk with warranties on the various returns, so forth. Back market is a strong default. That could be my opinion, but
I
the
agree.
refurb is the safest option, although it might be at a higher price.
Right.
Okay. CPU generations matter. When you're buying, you want to get an 8th generation or newer Intel. For AMD, you'd want a Ryzen 3000 series or newer. You want to avoid very old dual core CPUs, and performance gains tend to plateau after about the 11th gen. Now, others on the list might have more information on this. I'm not as
The
familiar with
other
the.
one to mention is the Apple switch from Intel to their M chips. And as far as I'm
Yes.
concerned, there's no point in buying anything else but an M chip because they're so much faster than Intel's.
So I will throw one. I did a little playing and just a food for thought for tinkerers. I have an old 2011, so it's very Intel, very old. MacBook Air, so very hardware limited too. I ended up installing a desktop Linux on it, and it works great. It's a really nice
Wow.
machine. And you can
15
probably
years
get
old.
that thing for next to nothing. So, one thing to think about is if you want something really cheap, like that, the hardware's beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be better than almost any laptop you buy today, other than maybe the screen resolution. But it's a beautiful machine, and it actually does pretty well considering. Or I think the other one is, what is it?
It's 10:30.
Google is advertising now for all the Windows machines that can't run Windows 11. They are advertising their, little flash drive of Chrome. Was it Chrome Flex or something like that? To make those machines usable. So it is an option if you want something cheap.
Okay, I'd
That
like to
goes
continue
back-
on here. I want to give some time for Drew.
Yeah, and just as an overall comment to what you said, Seth, that goes back to what Steve said in one of the early slides. Technical competence becomes a factor. If you don't feel comfortable doing a lot of the things you did, it's an interesting piece of information, but not really useful to most people.
Okay, so when you're buying, storage should be SSD versus hard drive. As I mentioned, I think I mentioned this before. It's because it's much faster. I'm not sure I know what NVMe is, but it's faster than SATA. So if you can get that, that'd be the choice. You want to check the remaining capacity and avoid spinning drives because they crash. For RAM, was that something you want to say, Seth?
Oh no, I was just gonna say NVMe is like it's like a memory stick that plugs right into the PCI bus, whereas SATA is, those memory sticks inside a drive that's talking the same interface. So that's why they're faster.
Oh. All right. RAM considerations. Now, it depends what you're planning on doing. If all you're going to be doing is shopping, surfing, and playing games, 8 gig might be enough. But as I found on Windows, when I was in Windows, the more memory you had, the better. And 16 gig would be preferred. You want to check if it's upgradable on a Macs. Most likely it's not upgradable. Windows laptops often are. So if you're considering upgrading either the disk or the memory, you might want to consider a Windows laptop. But if you're okay with what you're getting when you buy it from a Mac, might be one to choose here. Battery health on laptops. Okay. This is called battery monitor. This tells me what I've got on my machine. It shows that my computer has a capacity that's 81% of its new capacity. I'm currently almost fully charged. You take over a look over here. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but what it says is the remaining capacity is about 5,600 milliamp hours. The full capacity mine can get to is about just under 6,000 milliamp hours, but the design is about 7,300 milliamp hours. So it's showing me that you want to buy 80 or above, so my machine would fit into the criteria. Okay.
Steve, this is after you've already accepted the computer, decide whether you're going to keep it. They don't advertise this stuff online, right?
Sometimes they do. I know that in back market, one of their criteria is that it has a certain amount of battery capacity, I should say. And with regards to back market, that's where I have most of my experience, you get it, you take a look and you say, well, it's only got 75% battery capacity. You lied to me, you return it and get another one. No charge within the 30 days.
Steve, you mentioned an interesting point, which is that very few of us actually ever use the battery. We keep it plugged into the wall. And so I think that's a consideration to make. It just occurred to me that, why do I care? Only the reason I care is because the battery is nice when I move my machine. It doesn't have to turn it off, but I rarely do that. So I don't know. It's just the interesting thing to keep in mind. How important is your battery for your normal use?
Harry, I think you're the exception rather than the rule. My laptop is very mobile.
And mine is not, so, we can have a fight.
And sometimes it doesn't matter until it matters. Like you don't care, and then you go on a plane flight
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And
You want it to
it'll-
last for 4 hours.
And it doesn't last till you get to the end of the
Yeah.
runway.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
that's a
it's
good point.
Yeah, just
driven
so
by
I
your
guess
own
it depends upon what your usage is, and
A lot of airplanes have power
And-
supplies on.
depends what your usage is. Harry always works from his machine plugged in. Others take it on a plane and they want to have some battery, so it's a balance on that.
I'm not saying I
battery-
don't use it with the battery, but it's in terms of the percentage time where I need a battery for it is small compared to the rest of the time. I mean, I was, when I traveled to Mexico, I was on a plane for too many days, and I'm glad of my battery work then.
Harry, just take a
Okay.
50-pound UPS with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll love you that you bring that on the airplane.
Yeah.
The replacement costs are less on a PC, and it's easier to do. On the Macintosh, you have to kind of take it to them, and they take apart the machine and put the new battery in it, and it costs more.
So Steve,
Sometimes a refurb will include a brand new battery. Go ahead.
you can actually replace MacBook batteries. Like if you go on Amazon, they usually have a kit that has like the tools that you need in the battery. I don't, I've done it before. I feel like the quality of those batteries aren't quite as good, but you can do it for a lot less than $249 if you are
Okay.
up
Well,
to doing
once
it.
again, that's you
Yeah.
on the technical for doing it on a PC.
Yeah,
You
it's not
flip it
hard.
over, you flip a couple levers or undo a couple screws and put a new one in. It's real
Exactly.
easy. Okay.
And
Uh,
Steve, if you have Apple Care, that covers it too, wouldn't it?
Probably would, yeah. But yeah.
It probably
Usually a greatly
won't
reduced
last
price
long
of
enough for a battery to go.
$50 or something.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to get on a little bit of Mac specific guidance. Intel Macs are flexible, but they're aging. As somebody on here talked about M1, Harry, somebody, Apple Silicon is the best performance because everything is on the one chip. It's a lower temperature and a much faster speed. And you want to check your Mac OS support window, and RAM and storage are, for the most part, not upgradable unless you're quite technical. Windows specific, they're more upgradable. You can add more memory or replace existing memory. You can take out OneDrive and put in an SSD. You got a wider variety of hardware. You do need to watch out for low-end CPUs and the cheap models. And the business class models may be having the best capability. But if you check the specifications of the machine, you can do pretty well.
You should also consider support window on Windows now because it's not like it used to be. Microsoft stops shipping security updates, after a while. Not even regardless of like the Windows 10, Windows 11 incompatibility. Once you get it's getting closer to Mac.
That's after
Thin
5
laptops.
years.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're getting real thin laptops, they may throttle because of temperature. They may not be able to dissipate the heat enough. And if it's doing a lot of computation, the temperature goes up. I have a fan monitor on my Mac here. And when I start doing a lot of graphics, I see that the temperature goes up and the fans start going like crazy. Dust buildup affects cooling, so that you'll want to make sure you clean out the cooling vents. And that might be something I need to do here. And check, be mindful of things that might affect the thermal capabilities of your machine. Security considerations are pretty much as to be expected. You would probably want to do a fresh operating system install because you don't know what the previous owner has left you. You want to make sure that the BIOS is updated. That in general, good security is just to use a BitLocker or file vault to protect your machine against someone taking it and getting at the information on it. And be very careful with devices that you don't know anything at all about, especially if there's no warranty.
So
Unless
Steve,
it's
when
free.
you get a machine from back market, it has someone's old OS on it? Or they come
I'm not
naked?
sure. Well, it comes with some operating system. I'm not sure because I didn't buy a computer from them. I bought
What,
an
what
iPad.
about your Mac? When you bought the Mac, did it come with the Mac OS on it?
The Mac I bought was from the Apple Store, and yes, it did.
Oh, Apple Store, okay.
I'm pretty sure these a legitimate refurbishment company will wipe the thing. There's no guarantee. Like on eBay, some come with an OS, some don't. It depends because they're sometimes licensed. You have to just check. I assume it's the same everywhere, except Apple. Kind of gotta have one.
Okay, continuing on. A life cycle strategy is to buy 2 to 3 years behind the current models and use it for 3 to 5 years. Replace before the support ends, and the best cost performance balance when you purchase. This next slide is kind of busy. Let's compare what you actually get for about $1,000 refurbished. I hope you can all read that. This is where things get interesting. This slide compares the Apple M1, M1 Pro against a typical Intel and AMD laptop CPUs. The M1 is an ARM-based SoC system on a chip, combining a high performance and efficiency cores with integrated GPU cores and a very fast unified memory. Intel and AMD CPUs in Windows laptops are all x86-64, all high performance cores, and usually have separate memory for the graphics unit. Under the CPU explanation, the M1 Pro scores about 9,000 in multi-core benchmarks, while the refurbished i7 Intel laptops, usually the 8th to the 11th generation, range from about 4,000 to 7,000. Note that it's slower, it heats up more, and it throttles under load. For the GPU, the M1 Pro's integrated GPU cores are unusually powerful. They outperform typical integrated Intel Iris Xe graphics, though adding a discrete GPU to a PC can exceed M1 for video or GPU-heavy workloads. Now, for me, I do some video editing, and a fast integrated graphics would be very useful for me. Most refurbished PCs in this price range use Intel UHD or Iris Xe graphics, which are perfectly fine for everyday use, but are significantly weaker for graphics-heavy tasks. Now, note that we are tying ourselves to machines under $1,000. You get a more expensive machine, as Bob went last week. For the memory explanation, Apple's unified memory is a very high bandwidth and shared between the CPU and the GPU. In contrast, CPUs or the PCs use traditional RAM, and the GPU, if it's integrated, shares a more limited bandwidth. This is one reason Macs often feel faster in tasks like photo editing, even when the specs look similar. The battery efficiency is so important that the AI that I used to generate this slide decided to put it in twice. And this is where the biggest difference appears. Battery life and thermal efficiency are other differentiators. M1 laptops run cooler and longer than most Intel H-series laptops. In real-world productivity, both platforms are capable, but the M1's architecture gives it an efficiency advantage. You can expect roughly twice the battery life compared to most refurbished Intel laptops. You see 4 to 8, 10 to 14. So the honest bottom line is, at $1,000 refurbished, the Mac M1 Pro is a higher performance and efficiency, while the PC is more flexible, upgradable, and a lower cost option. You might say, I might say that if both machines are plugged in and doing light tasks, they'll feel similar. You won't be able to tell the difference. But on a heavier load or on battery, the Mac would pull ahead, according to these specifications here. Any questions? So here's my checklist for a refurbished PC or machine. Check the CPU generation and cores. Make sure it's sufficient and upgradable RAM if necessary. Check the SSD health and capacity. Make sure that the battery health percentage and cycle count is in a good range. That there's a good warranty and return policy. That It can handle the OS support and updates, check the seller rating and grading, and check the cosmetic condition. Okay. Now, for the machine specifications for my demo, I'm going to be concerned with under $1,000 refurbished. And I'm looking for a laptop that does both day-to-day and computer intensive. For me, it would be video editing. It could be for graphics, of photo editing, and so forth. So for a MacBook Pro, I'm considering an M1 Pro, which is their very first M series, a 14-inch machine with 8 CPU and 14 graphics cores, and 16 gig of memory, 512 SSD. For the PC, I'm looking for comparable in that it's Intel i7 for 8th to 11th generation, or an AMD Ryzen 7, a 13 to 15-inch full HD display, the integrated either Iris Xe or AMD Radeon graphics card, and also 16 gig of memory and a 512 gig SSD. Those are what I'm looking for when I'm going to do the comparison in a minute or two. So to compare these, I'm looking at comparable real-world tasks on both of them. Web browsing with lots of tabs, Office, slides, docs, sheets, Zoom calls, coding development environments, light photo editing with some video editing. And for PCs in the 1,000 under 1,000 range, they might not match a Mac in the same price range because of the GPU accelerated video editing, the high-end color accuracy, battery life, and unified memory speed. I think you'll also find that the graphics resolution is higher on the Mac. So I'm going to
That
put
because
this one back up here.
the monitor is higher resolution?
Yeah, yes. So I'll let me bring this over here. This is back market. Now, I was looking for a machine. This is the MacBook Pro M1 series. It's a 14-inch Apple M1 Pro 8-core, 14-core GPUs, 512 gig, 16 gig RAM, and space gray. Comes up to $711. Now let's take a look. It tells me when they could deliver it. This is as of yesterday, so if I refresh, the numbers might change a little bit. Here's how it talks about the returns and warranty. Super easy, reunited, get your cash back. Defects are covered for the first year, and you can ship it back and get replacement on them. Very nice. So it's backmarket.com. And let's see.
Is
You
the
have
reviews that
choices.
you have up there for the model or is it for the vendor?
We're choosing for the model. The vendor is Back Market, which is the marketplace.
Do they rate the people that contribute to back market? Well, like eBay does.
Let's scroll down a little bit. I think they do that. So I can choose either a 13, a 14, or a 16-inch. I'm going with a 14-inch. And I have 3 different conditions. I'm choosing excellent. Premium, I think, means that they have replaced the battery and everything. It's much more expensive.
Well, the question is for the $100 and whatever it is, $150, could you replace the battery yourself if you were so inclined?
Well, as I reported, it's 250. So therefore, the difference is less than if you went to the Apple store and asked them to replace it.
Fair enough.
They have a number of different options. I'm going with the 8-core, 14-core GPU. But if I wanted to go to a 10 and 16 or a 10 and 32, I'd be paying more money. 16 gig, and I can also choose 32 gig available. I'm generally going with 512 gig. I don't need to spend the extra 500 or more dollars for a larger amount of storage because I use external drives. And a 512 has worked out fine for me. And there's 2 colors associated with this. Trade-in. If you have an old machine, you can trade it in and get a discount on the purchase of a new one or a new refurbished one. And here's where it's got the price. Let's see, does it say who's got the person? Frequently asked questions. Oh, this is because I haven't been in. Still 7. Okay, let's go down here back. Frequently asked questions. Telling what warranty covers, payment methods, and perks and benefits included. 1-year warranty, 30 days to change your mind, free shipping, and the technical specifications. Product number, oh, this is rather interesting.
Stephen, early on, I think you said something about a back market having a way to rate vendors. Either you're looking for that and we haven't seen it, or maybe they don't do it. I don't know.
Good point. Oh, here. Not in big print. Proudly refurbished by Reconnect. It's an approved seller with 4.3 out of 5 stars rating. It's been on back market for 6 months. It's based in the US. And it shows some people who have rated it. Going back. Okay, looks like I've lost that particular one. Here's another, taking a look at refurbished Windows laptops. I'm going to refresh the page so it's current. There we go. So we can see what we get here. You get a Surface. Let's find one that's in around the same price as this one here. $715. So if we compare this one with this one, I'm looking at the higher price ones. And this one, let's just compare these. This one's pretty good here. Look at the display resolution. It's approaching the Macintosh. So my point here is that you can see how easy it is to compare the available devices here. Any questions so far on this portion?
Those seem like they're pretty old devices, right? If the generation of their CPUs are like, 8, 9, 10, they're at least like 4 or 5 years old, right?
They were 2019, all of them.
Okay, 7 years old, yeah.
Or 21. Here's the 2021.
Okay.
Yes. And the MacBook, what is the year on this one here? I'm not sure. This is probably
I
probably
mean, M1 is like
2021.
4 years ago, something like that.
21 or 20, around there. Okay, we can go over to Apple. Here's Apple. Let me refresh the page.
I assume they also do the Airs, right?
Well, they have them listed here, but they don't seem to have any Airs available. So it looks like
Interesting.
the only choice is a MacBook Pro, and I have 14, 15, or 24-inch, and the release year only 2025. So there's only one choice here. It's an Apple M5, and it's $14.89. So Apple has nice machines, but they don't have much of a selection here. Oh, I'm sorry, and there's somewhere up here, but the price is twice the price from what I was looking in the back market. On Amazon,
Just
Those
on
are,
the
for all
reference
intents
to-
and purposes, brand new machines. I mean, M5 just came out, I think.
yes. It's interesting they call it refurbished.
For reference on the M1 MacBook Pro, that's what I have. It's 2020. So it's 6 years.
Okay, so it's a few years old.
Yeah.
But my history with Macintosh machines is that they last a long time. I have a 2012 iMac over here. These are both 2018s that I'm using, and they're working fine. So here are some of the ones that we have available on Amazon, and you can see the prices. So I did a search on a PC laptop. Is this another one here where I did a PC lap i7, and we can see what they have here. I'm just trying to show that they have they're showing me things that aren't I guess they're all showing me only i7. So you do have some to compare here. Over here in Best Buy, they have a MacBook Pro 14-inch, M1 Pro 8, 14, 16, exactly like the one I had on Back Market. Back Market was $38 less than this. They also have some other refurbished machines. So this could be another possibility if we're going to be comparing specs.
Well, I think as you point out, it's a lot easier to buy on Back Market because I'm just looking at your display here and I'd be bamboozled to figure it out. On Back Market, they frequently have multiple instances of the same machine.
Yes. And two colors. So Lenovo offers some. Here's a Back Market offering a Lenovo 512 gig, 16 gigs, iCore, Core i7, Gen H, which is fairly new. And you see the price is pretty good before trade-in. And here we can choose. It's interesting that fair and good is more expensive than excellent. But it may be other factors, but it's easy for me, at least. It's easy for me to choose which one we want here. Dell
Well, Steve,
Latitude, this is also Back Market.
And you go back to that case, if you go to the good instead of the excellent, it may be a change in specs. It may be just more memory,
It's just
something
what's in,
else.
it's just what's
No,
in
that
stock at this
Yeah.
moment.
Right.
They have a whole slew of
It,
excellent quality ones. The price goes down.
they have certain requirements for each of these categories, and it must be if you really want good, we don't have very many for you, so you have to choose, and we're charging more for them because why would anyone want good over excellent?
And fair is the same price as good.
Humility.
And then here's the Dell Latitude.
That's more money,
So-
you can say it doesn't move.
So that's
Steve,
that's
did I
basically
miss-
all I've got. Go ahead.
Steve, did I miss that what operating system the PCs come with, i.e. Home or
Let's
Pro? You didn't, or did I just miss you saying it? Did I
see.
go
I don't
to
know
sleep?
I don't know what operating systems they have.
Hey, Bob, if you're
Okay.
worried about that, what you can do, what I've done, and that is you get it with home, which is usually very inexpensive, and then you go and you look for a key on that people sell. They have a company may have excess keys that they bought for one reason or another, and for maybe $50 you get a key. You go to Microsoft, you plug in the key, they download the OS for you, and all of a sudden you're in Pro. So you don't
If
have
the
to
machine will run Pro, I mean, most of them probably 11 Pro.
There
Right.
are no hardware differences between home and pro.
Yeah, there's hardware, the Pro and Home. The differences are in how much control you get over the machine. In Pro, you can do a lot of back end stuff through an interface. In Home, that's taken away from you.
Yeah, why when I've been looking at this on Dell and Back Market, if well, particularly Dell, I switch, and all number of the specs change without, why. I don't quite understand why that would happen, but it does. Actually, every time I did it.
You're talking about back market?
No, I'm talking about Dell itself now.
Okay. Go ahead, Drew.
Bring in Rob.
Yeah,
It's 11
one of the advantages of going to Pro is it gives you the ability to run Microsoft virtual machines. And let's say you are and then they give you in there the ability to create a free Windows Enterprise virtual machine that lasts for a couple of months. And if you want to install some software that you're not sure of, a new utility program, a new this or that, and you don't want to start by putting it on your production machine, you can put it in the virtual machine and see how it likes, see if you like it. And if you do, then you can install it on your home machine.